I think maybe we can wait a couple more minutes, maybe a minute or two to start.
Okay.
Get people in here.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Sorry.
I unmute myself. One more minute and then we'll start.
Okay.
And those of you just joining, if you could drop your name and then the organization you're from into the chat so everyone knows where you're coming from.
Oh, Ryan still.
Okay, so we're going to get started. As Hannah said, this will be recorded and uploaded to our website once we are finished, so you can view this on a different time, or if you want to share the talk with anybody in your network, you're free to do so. So we're just going to get started. So everyone can see my screen?
Yeah, perfect. Looks good, Tori.
Okay, perfect. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you all for joining us for our fourth and final speaker series in our Live Well Allegheny Learning Collaborative. My name is Tori Baker, and I'm the Public Health Educator for the Chronic Disease and Injury Prevention Program at the Allegheny County Health Department. The Learning Collaborative series is a part of the countywide health and wellness initiative called Live Well Allegheny. Before we introduce our speaker, I want to first highlight what Live Well Allegheny is and show you how you can access the Live Well Allegheny website. So the Live Well Allegheny campaign highlights increasing physical activity, eating right, and reducing smoking. In the graphic over to the right, it is shown that there are 3 modifiable behaviors that contribute to the 4 common chronic diseases and attribute to 50% of deaths worldwide. So what the Live Well Allegheny campaign does is we highlight ways to eat right, improve your physical activity, and reduce smoking. We believe that through collective action, we can make Allegheny County a healthier place, the healthiest county in the nation. Live Well participants range in 4 different categories. We have communities, schools, workplaces, and restaurants. So that's pretty much all of our participants. You're going to fit into any one of those categories. And then it just gives a little bit more of a example of what those categories represent. And then I'll show you guys the website in just one second. It's just a place where it shows all of our Live Well partners and also the Live Well Collaborative recordings are going to be on there and available to view. So to access the Live Well Learning Collaborative on our website, you just go to livewellallegheny.com /Live Well Allegheny Learning Collaborative, and I'll drop it into the chat as well so you guys can have that. But this is just a place where we can view all of our speaker series, and once we are concluded today, the fourth and final series will be posted here. So you can kind of see, if you scroll down, all of our other speaker series that we held this year. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay, so now to introduce our speaker, Dylan Donnelly is the PowerUp educator from Adagio Health. He will be presenting the program Eating Healthy on a Budget. And if you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to drop any messages in the chat and we can answer those. So I now pass the presentation over to Dylan.
All right, sounds good. Good morning, everybody. So give me 1 second to upload my
Morning,
PowerPoint.
Dylan.
Good morning. Let's see. Okay. Okay, can everybody see that? Okay, cool. So, like we said, we will be discussing on how we can eat healthy on a budget. And my name is Dylan Donnelly. I am with Adagio Health as a part of their PowerUp program. So just a little background of what PowerUp is. PowerUp is a nutrition and physical activity education program that's funded through the USDA SNAP Ed program. We use evidence-based curricula, and our PowerUp educators, such as myself, deliver monthly nutrition lessons in the classroom to ages preschool all the way up to 12th grade. And we also, provide nutrition education lessons to adults and seniors as well. So we really try to hit all of the different demographics. So what are some of the things that PowerUp can provide? So our PowerUp educators want to help create healthier schools and communities to develop an environment where the healthy choice is the easy choice. And some of the things that we do to kind of act on that is we have early childhood initiatives. So that would be anything from, farm to early childhood education support, any type of classroom displays that we can, provide to the teachers as far as nutrition education goes, and any type of playground stencils that would help promote that as well. We have K-12 school initiatives, so that would be anything from the site wellness events and challenges. So we usually do like a walk to school challenge or something like that with the students, weather permitting, of course. We have school meal program promotion, so we have Healthy Breakfast Month and all that kind of stuff too that we do as far as promoting any type of school meal. We participate in the wellness committee at some of our schools and try and help implement and change their policies too. And we also have community and food assistance as well. So any type of food insecurity screenings, healthy pantry programs, and we partner with the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank to do all of those things. So now we are going to get into a little bit on how we can eat healthy on a budget. So there are a couple of different things that we can do as far as that goes. The main one, the first one, is menu planning. So anytime that you guys are having trouble kind of thinking of what you guys might want for the week, just take a moment to sit down and think of what you might want to eat for the week as far as grocery shopping goes. So does anybody menu plan? What do we think some of the benefits are with menu planning? Saves time in the week for sure, absolutely. Balanced meals, definitely. And no extra money spent, so that's, kind of what this whole presentation is about, right? And it stops you from eating fast food, definitely. Do we think there are any challenges when it comes to menu planning? Organization.
Well, you have to set aside the time ahead of time.
Yeah, absolutely. So we need to find the time ahead of time to really sit down and kind of think of what we might want to eat. So it can get a little bit redundant. And I oftentimes with myself specifically, I often find myself kind of eating the same things, from week to week. So it can get a little bit hard when it comes to thinking of more creative recipes and stuff. Yeah. Very good. But like we said, with menu planning, we want to try and pick one day out of the week to sit down and really take the time to plan what you want to have for the week. You can even search recipe ideas online if you're having trouble thinking of what you want to cook, such as myself. So I often find myself, looking up different ways that I can make something that I already make, or, different ways to incorporate different types of foods. We want to try and stick to a grocery list when shopping. I know this can be a little bit hard, especially for me too. But as a general rule of thumb, when you guys are shopping at the grocery stores, we want to try and shop the perimeter of the grocery store first, as that is where you find the most whole foods. So the general setup of a grocery store, like it says, is the perimeter is kind of where you find all the whole foods, the produce, the milk, the eggs, the meats and all that. And then the middle of the store often contains the most processed foods. So that's where you're going to find your cereals, your canned goods, your frozen meals and stuff like that. So shop the perimeter of the grocery store first and get what you need for the week, and then go into the middle as you guys find that you might need other ingredients for that as well. So just to continue on that, cooking at home is extremely important. Does anybody find themselves not cooking at home as often as maybe they should? And there are some pros and cons to that as well. So cooking at home, another thing with that is time, right? So we need to make sure that we have time to actually do that. And one of the things that we can do to kind of combat that is meal prepping, right? So a lot of people I know meal prep their meals for the whole week on, we'll just say Sunday, for example, so that they have their meals set already for the whole week, and all they have to do is kind of heat it up in the microwave or throw it in the oven, whatever the meal is, just to heat it up. But cooking at home as much as possible and getting creative with those ingredients that may go bad soon is a really good way to eat healthy on a budget. So for example, if you have any type of fresh fruit or vegetable that might go bad, it might look a little wrinkly, you can definitely saute them on a skillet or steam them in the microwave, and that would make a perfect side dish to just about anything. So if you're, say, for example, you're going to have, some grilled chicken and rice, those sauteed vegetables would be a perfect side dish, and it's really easy to make too. So it takes just a couple of minutes on the stove, or even just pop it in the microwave for a couple minutes too. That would be the perfect side dish to incorporate and get more nutrients into our bodies. And using up any of those ingredients as much as possible will cut down on food waste. And I know a lot of the times, with food waste, it happens. I know that. But one thing that you can kind of do at home with the ingredients that you have is just to organize your refrigerator, right? So if you find yourself having 2 half-gallons of milk in the fridge, for example, make sure that you put that half-gallon that's going to expire first in front so that you're more likely to use that. And the same goes with any other type of food in your refrigerator or pantry as well. Like I said, cooking larger portions, you can use those as leftovers. And, if you do meal prep, just cooking larger portions so that you can kind of have that already set for the whole week would really save on time as well. And don't shop when you're hungry, because this will reduce the risk of unnecessary spending. I know for myself that I tend to do that a good bit. So anytime that, you're shopping whenever you're hungry, you're more likely to impulse buy, and that's just going to result in spending more money than you really planned on in the first place. And anytime that you guys are shopping in the grocery stores, we really emphasize on trying to stick to the foods on our My Plate here. So following foods from the fruits, vegetables, protein, grains, and dairy is always a good rule of thumb as well whenever it comes to trying to shop on a budget or just shop for ingredients in general. So what are some of the foods that you guys find in your pantries? So do you guys usually keep, canned vegetables on stock or any type of oils like olive oil or vegetable oil or any other type of dry foods like some brown rice or anything like that? Canned veggies, crackers, pasta is another good one. Rice, beans, avocado oil. Yep, those are all really good things to keep. And especially, the canned fruits and veggies too, because they have a longer shelf life, obviously, as opposed to, some fresh fruits or vegetables. So really utilizing the different forms that we can buy a lot of our foods, whether it's, canned green beans versus fresh green beans. Those canned green beans are going to last a whole lot longer than, fresh green beans, and you're really getting the same nutrients as well. Yeah, that's actually a good point. So a lot of canned vegetables are higher in sodium, but one of the ways that we kind of teach our participants is that you can really kind of get rid of most of that sodium just by simply washing off the vegetables. And the same thing goes for any type of canned fruit too. So a lot of the times, if it's not in 100% fruit juice, it'll be in like a high fructose corn syrup or something like that, kind of as a preservative. You can do the same thing. You can just simply wash it off, put it in a little strainer or a little bowl, wash it off, and it gets rid of most of that sodium and added sugar as well. And that's actually one of the things I was going to talk about too. But we want to try, if we can, to purchase whole foods. So that would be, for example, purchasing a whole block of cheese versus a bag of already shredded cheese. And, like I said, there are a lot of pros and cons to that too. So by buying the, pre-shredded cheese, it's saving on time, so we don't have to do that whenever it comes to preparing our foods, but it also costs a little bit more. The whole product may take a little bit more prep, like I said, but oftentimes is less expensive. And then find myself like, oh, that's a good point too. Yeah, so I'm kind of the same way too, honestly. So I usually try to use a lot of canned beans for chili and stuff too. That's actually what I'm making tonight, vegetarian chili. But that is definitely a good point. But does anybody buy generic brands versus brand names? I know a lot of people are very specific when it comes to certain things with brand names. One of the things specifically, it's not food related, but I know a lot of people are very specific with toilet paper. So they'll spend that extra $1 on the Charmin versus getting, whatever kind of generic brand name that is. But with food, comparing all the ingredients on the ingredients list for both brand names and generic is a really good tool to do, because manufacturers have to follow a standard to provide us with safe food. So it really ends up just being kind of like a whole marketing thing and a preference thing too, obviously, with our food. So if you guys like, we'll just say Jif versus Great Value peanut butter, oftentimes you're going to see that a lot of the same ingredients are in that Great Value or the generic brand versus the name brand. And that, again, is the quality of the generic brand may be the same as the name brand, but will be less expensive. So it definitely cuts down on the cost as well. And then the next thing that we can do to kind of help cut down the cost and eat healthy on a budget is to avoid buying highly processed foods so that you can spend more on higher quality, nutrient dense foods. So does anybody like those lean cuisine meals, for example, or any type of frozen meals. So I know a good bit of people that actually, prefer those just because it's something quick they can take for their lunch to work, or, if they're at school or anything like that, it's kind of, an easy thing to heat up and microwave and have for a meal. But oftentimes those highly processed frozen meals do have higher sodium content as well. And they kind of use that again, just kind of like the canned vegetables as a preservative, just to make it last a little bit longer and keep the flavors. But we kind of already talked a little bit about this. But trying to buy frozen and canned fruits and vegetables as much as possible is definitely a really cost-effective way to get a lot of nutrients that our body needs and to stick to those nutrient-dense whole foods. Because frozen fruits and vegetables are actually picked at their peak ripeness, and they provide our bodies with all of the same nutrients as fresh fruits and vegetables do. And like I said, they also have a longer shelf life, so they can last for, well over a year or so. And you can incorporate them in lots of different recipes. You can use frozen vegetables for any type of chili or any type of side dish, or frozen fruit for a smoothie or anything like that. And like I said, they are less expensive as well, which overall will cut back on food waste. But like we said before, choosing canned fruits, if you're going to, make sure that they are in 100% fruit juice. That way that all of the sugar that's the fruit is in is coming naturally from the fruit. So I know a lot of times, especially with, different types of juices like Sunny D, there's added sugar in it. But with our canned fruit, if it is in that 100% fruit juice, kind of doubles as a snack too. So you're getting the fruit you're going to eat the fruit, and then you can kind of drink the juice as well that it was in, and you're still getting all of those nutrients too. And, same with our canned vegetables. Try to see and make sure that you're looking on the label to see if it says reduced sodium on it, because like we said, oftentimes sodium is added to the canned goods as a preservative. But like I said, an easy tip to get rid of most of the sodium is to just rinse it off prior to use. And I know a lot of the times people, do like the canned vegetables because of the sodium, but a lot of the times when people are cooking with them, you add salt back into the food anyways. So you might as well just rinse off, if you're going to use salt as, a condiment with whatever meal you're having, just go ahead and rinse off the salt from the vegetables and just cut down on the sodium in that aspect. And then something else that we can do to eat healthy on a budget is to utilize retailer sale ads, especially, around this time of year, whenever it's the holidays. A lot of our food does go on sale along with everything else, of course, but we want to make sure that we utilize those sale ads to see if there are any specific foods that you're looking for that may be on sale to cut back on cost. That way you're saving money. And then here are just some resources for recipe ideas that we kind of take some of our recipes from. So we have the Cooking Matters link there, myplate.gov, of course. Just Say Yes to Fruit and Veggies, and then we have our website as well, which we actually house a lot of recipe videos that we created during the pandemic for, the public to view if they would like. And that is about all that I have for you guys as far as eating healthy on a budget. Does anybody have any questions or comments? So I'm looking through the comments and I see a lot of you guys do shop at Aldi. So I do too. Aldi is pretty good. One thing that I do notice though with Aldi is sometimes their produce can be a little bit questionable. Whenever I get produce from there, I guess depending on what it is, it goes bad a little bit quickly. So it might be a little bit past its prime, but they are a very good option for being cost effective too. A lot of their foods are very affordable. Yeah, bananas, that's one thing I do avoid from Aldi's. Oh, that's a good point. I'll have to remember that. That makes sense though, because the earlier, it is in the day, the fresher the food is probably. So I'll definitely keep that in mind.
I have a question, Dylan. This is, so some of the people on this call are our Live Well Allegheny partners. So we're all probably here thinking about ourselves, but then also the people that we're working with. Do you at Adagio or PowerUp help people who may be on food stamps or WIC in terms of using their benefits to be purchasing healthier food? I'm just trying to think about those types of resources that some of our partners could share with organizations. And it looks like there's another question too. Is that anything that like Adagio has resources about? I know that you provide WIC support outside of Allegheny County.
Yeah, we do have resources as far as that goes, but I know whenever we do host our Cooking Matters classes with the parents, we oftentimes provide them with the groceries to do the classes, just as kind of like an incentive for them signing up and, participating in it so that they can see actually, how much it costs and everything whenever you do go grocery shopping. But we do have resources as far as that goes, and I can get that to you.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Tori does usually send kind of follow-up, with the recording and things like that. So if you have any resources like that, maybe send them and then she could send them out to all the participants. That would be great.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
And there is a question in the chat, it looks like from Juan Lacey. I didn't read that. Maybe you can read that. See if.
Let me see. To see about a collaboration with our farm as we plan to build a micro grocery store. Oh, that's really great. I can actually put you in contact with our regional manager. She's a part of the partnership development team as well. So I can I'll type her information in the chat. Her contact information.
Well, and this is another great question, Jessica. I think of this too, because I have kids. What is the best foods to donate to the pantry? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to just pull what's back in the back of our closet, because if we don't want to eat it, somebody else doesn't want to eat it. Do you have, that's a great question. Do you have recommendations on that? What is the best foods to donate to food pantries? Yeah.
Yeah, so any type of canned goods. I mean, even if it is something that you don't want to eat personally and you might think that somebody else doesn't want to eat, maybe they don't have access to it. So donating those, somebody might actually like that. Any type of canned fruits or vegetables, any type of beans is always good too. Anything like that would be great. Let me see. Sorry, I hit enter. And then let me get you.
Oh, can you mention some of the PowerUp programs? So like, what if somebody was interested? Maybe you can go back to that slide that has the PowerUp programs. Like if somebody is interested in partnering with Adagio on one of those programs, how would they do it?
So they would want to get in contact with our regional manager again, Amy, and our PSE coordinator, Ruth. I can put her information as well in the chat so you guys can reach out to her. And then let me get her phone number too, just in case. So that is Amy's contact information, and then I will get you our PSE coordinator, Ruth, as well.
And then while you're looking for that, Jessica also asked, do you offer any information regarding the best disease or health specific diets?
So
it can be hard.
That would be specific to partners or participants or clients.
Well, and Jessica, please feel free to chime in, but there certainly are different diets for people who have different health conditions. So does Adagio have information about that? I'm just thinking whether you would have diabetes or there's just any number of them.
Yeah, I mean, we do provide just general education for that, but unfortunately we can't, counsel anybody because a lot of us aren't registered dietitians and we can't provide any kind of specific counseling. But yes, we do touch base on any type of chronic disease, obviously the whole premise of this is to, try and have a healthier eating pattern so that you can prevent, the development of any of those types of chronic diseases. So we do provide education for that. But as far as, specifically counseling or providing any type of, anything like that, we unfortunately can't.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks.
Let me see. And then this is our PSE coordinator. This is her contact information. Go. Okay. Are there any other questions that you guys might have? Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys again for having us, come on and just provide just a little bit of information on how to eat healthy on a budget. And we would love to work with you guys in any possible the way that we can. And feel free to contact again, like I said, Amy Macklin, she's our regional manager, and she's a part of, developing those partnership relationships with any type of partners. And Ruth Bender, she's our PSE coordinator too, so she would be involved in that as well.
Thanks, Dylan. Tori is certainly going to be back in touch with everybody with follow-up, and we are planning to continue these collaborative sessions in 2022. We have our January sessions set. Tori, feel free to say something about that, or we can, we'll definitely be following up with information about that. But then if anybody's interested in partnering with us, please reach out if you feel like you have content that would be beneficial.
Yeah, I'll send a follow-up email with a link to sign up for our first Live Well speaker series in January as well.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you guys for having us again. It was a lot of fun.
Have a wonderful day,
Dylan.
everyone.
You too. Thank you.
Oh, Tori, do you want to put your email in the chat? It looks like Juan's asking who to talk to about the next one.